Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2008 Walt Disney / Happy Madison production film Bedtime Stories, starring Adam Sandler, Courtney Cox, Guy Pearce, Russell Brand. A slew of other people are in this. This film I saw once in the theaters and I didn't like it. But now that I've seen it 22 years later, not 22 years later, oh my god, 12 years later, there we go. I really liked it. I really liked it. Wait, 12? I can't do math today. 2008 plus 12 is 2020, 13. It's 2021. So this was very interesting when it was first announced, I remember, because it was, how does a Happy Madison production, Adam Sandler-led film work under the Disney banner? And it gave us the same question many, many years later when Adam Sandler's Happy Madison Productions agreed to contracts for Netflix to make Netflix films. How would a Happy Madison production Netflix film work? And let me tell you, they both work. So it's very interesting because you have these different comedic aspects. The story is of the film is Skeeter, played by Adam Sandler, and his sister, played by Courtney Cox, grew up in a motel. Their dad, Marty, ran the motel, who is the father from Pirates of the Caribbean, and I can never remember his name. But he passes away after he sells off his motel empire, and Skeeter still works at this new hotel, which was built in and around the motel. So it's a matter of, will Skeeter become the new lead operator of the next hotel being built on the school grounds of where his sister works, and his niece and nephew go. But then it's eventually, pushed out to the beach. But it's the story of getting there. And what's the bedtime story aspect? So Skeeter tells his niece and nephew these bedtime stories while their mom's away on an interview trip in Arizona for a teacher / principal position. And the day after they go over the bedtime stories, that stuff translates to real life for Skeeter. Whether it's coincidence or magic, that's besides the point. But some of the stuff happens. So it's a matter of trying to get the kids to tell the story of him getting the hotel empire, and then, stories backfiring in return. Russell Brand's character was absolutely hysterical in this. Absolutely hysterical. It was interesting because he has tattoos. So to cover him up with a lot of makeup, that was also interesting. So it was just fast. You had, Midwestern, like cowboys and Indians, as they called it. We don't say that term anymore, but that was a whole Old West kind of story. There was a medieval story. There was an ancient Greek story. There was a intergalactic battle story. A lot of stuff was very entertaining, and it was cool seeing it translate. So, of course, some parts were problematic. Watching it now in 2021 compared to when it was made in 2008, Rob Schneider playing a native, again, is not a thing. You don't do that anymore. We were very naive back then. And using actual elephants for scenes. We don't use actual elephants anymore. That's a no-no. So I like seeing how much we've progressed in relation to how we film and portray things. But it was super cringy watching those things just because I'm like, oh, we don't do that anymore. We don't talk about those things anymore. So it's interesting how the media changes your mindset on certain aspects that should have never been a thing in the first place, but they were, and so how do we deal with it, etc. But Bedtime Stories, Disney. It's on Disney Plus. Give it a watch if you haven't seen it in a while, because it's heartfelt. I love the s'mores eating and the goofing around with the niece and the nephew. I like it. It's wholesome. It's wholesome at heart, and that was the point of this. So good film. Mucho mahalo.